Hello all, welcome to Selenium Python Training Series. In this session, as part of hybrid framework creation, I am going to explain and practically demonstrate how to create some automation scripts for some sample functionalities in a sample application. To get started with creation of this hybrid framework, we have to create automation scripts for some functionalities that I'm going to cover in this session. I'm not going to automate the entire application. Rather, I would like to choose some functionalities in the application. Let's say 2 to 3 functionalities in the application like search functionality, login functionality, register functionality. And I'll not automate all the test cases for each and every functionality. Rather, I'll pick some test cases for search functionalities, some test cases for login functionality, some test cases for register functionality in the sample application, that is tutorials in the application. And I'll start creating this framework in this session. Okay, by doing that, I'm initiating the creation of the hybrid framework. So after this session, I'm going to have other sessions where we are going to build the framework surrounding this automated test cases. So first, as a first step to creating this hybrid framework, we have to have some automation scripts created for some sample functionalities in sample application that I'm going to do now. So this is the application. I'll open the browser and open this application. So this is the application I'm trying to automate. And in this application, I'm going to choose some functionalities like search functionality. This search functionality, I'm going to pick some test case for search functionality. I'm going to pick some test cases for register functionality. I'm going to pick some functionalities for login functionality. And for those test cases, I'm going to automate them, okay, as part of this framework creation, hybrid framework creation, which is going to continue in the next few sessions. So let's get started here, where we are going to simply focus on creating the automation scripts for all these functionalities of this sample application. So for that, I'll open this PyCharm IDE. So after opening the PyCharm IDE, let the PyCharm IDE launch. So PyCharm IDE editor is launching. Once it is launched, I'll create a new project here. I'll freshly create a new project. I'll just name this project as Selenium Python Hybrid Framework. Okay, Selenium Python Hybrid Framework, and click on create. Once the project is created, let's wait for the project to get created. So let's wait until this virtual environment is created and all. So yeah, it got created now. It's updating something. Yeah, that's fine. So by default, we'll get this main.py file along with this project. I don't need that, or we don't need that. Let me delete this. Right click on this Python file and simply delete this. It's of no use. So after deleting that, under this project, create a package. Say I'll name this package as a test package. Press enter. Under the test package, now you can create some class file. Say I'll simply say Python file. Okay, I'll just create this Python file and name it as search. Okay, I'll say search and press enter. Now, here in this search, I have to create some tests. Def, okay, def space. I'll simply say search for one first test case. Okay, I'm already automating the first test case from the sample search functionality. Search for a valid product like this. Okay, enter. And here you write the automation scripts. So we have to write the automation scripts using Selenium, but by default, this project doesn't have that Selenium library. So how to get the Selenium library in this project? So it only has a Python library, but apart from Python, it doesn't have anything. So I'll go to the terminal, and in the terminal, I'll install Selenium. Simple command, pip space install space Selenium. Press enter. Selenium package or library will get installed in a while. Let's wait. From the terminal of PyCharm IDE, we're installing Selenium. Yes, looks like it got installed almost. There's some more progress going on. Let's wait. And still going on. Let's wait, guys. Selenium is getting installed. Yeah, it got installed. Okay, Selenium got installed. Now I'll select this project as a backup, even though Selenium library got installed from here, but still I'll select the project and select file, select settings, and in that settings, I'll select this project name. Under that, I'll select Python interpreter. Whether from here or here you can select, and after selecting the Python interpreter, let's wait for the packages to load. See whether Selenium is there. Yes, Selenium is already there. Okay. So either you can install from terminal or you can click on this place and then you can type Selenium here. And after that Selenium, select the Selenium in the same version is there. Click on it. This is another way of installing Selenium. Either you can install from the terminal or you can install from here, or both is also fine. I generally do both as a backup. Okay, to make sure everything is fine and Selenium is installed. To cross check, I'll just generally do this. Okay, after installing from terminal, I'll go to the project and do that and select and install from there also. After installing, very simple, we can now write the automation code. I'll simply write WebDriver dot. Now over the mouse on this WebDriver, since Selenium library is already part of this project, now you'll get the import statement here. Import this name, import this WebDriver from Selenium library. Done. Now say WebDriver dot Chrome. This will launch the Chrome browser, and it will return you some driver. Okay, it will return you the driver. Driver is equal to. Now using this driver object reference, you can maximize the browser window. Here in the first line, the Chrome browser got launched in normal mode, and you are maximizing that. After that, you are saying driver dot get, and here we have to give the application URL. Let me give this application URL that I want to open in the browser. Once we open this application URL, then what? We have to enter a valid product into the search box field. Right click, inspect the search box field. Right click, inspect that search box field, and here we have the name locator. Copy this name locator and simply write down driver dot find element by dot, that is name, right? By dot, even by dot suggestions are not coming. Over the mouse on by and import that from Selenium library. After that, simply say by dot name locator. Give the name locator of the search box field and say dot send case. Okay, and in the send case, I'll give a valid product, say HP. Okay, HP valid product, I'll give HP. After typing HP into the search box field, I have to click on the search button, inspect that. After inspecting that search button, we'll get this HTML code highlighting. So in that, I'll take one of the class here. Multiple classes are there in this class attribute of this button tag. That is BTN is one class, BTN default is another class, BTN LG. I'll take this BTN default, copy this and create an XPath expression using that BTN default. / button at the red class instead of at the red class. Since it is one of the class, I cannot say at the red class. Contains, say contains at the red class, give that class. Now you see it's locating only one element. That element is nothing but this HTML code related element. That is nothing but this particular button. You can see when I hover the mouse, the button is getting highlighted. Copy this XPath expression of that particular search button and simply write down driver.find element by dot XPath. Give the XPath expression of that button and say dot clicked. Once you click on this, the product will get searched in the search results. You will get the product here. We need to see whether this product got displayed in the search results or not. How to do that? I'll inspect this. And here, when I inspect this is a link text. I'll copy this text between the tags, and here I'll say assert. Okay, so assert, or I'll simply say for now driver dot find element by dot link text. Link text, give the link text of that product. This is the link text I gave, and say dot is displayed. Okay, if this HP product got displayed in the search results, it will return true. But based on the result, if it is written true, the test need to pass. If it results false, the test need to fail. So to do that, we have to write the assert statement. Okay, we have to write the assert statement like this. Assert like this. Fine. Cool. So thing here is we have to install one more library, that is PyTest library. Here I'll go here and I'll say pip space install space PyTest. Press enter. Now after installing the PyTest, right, this assert will happen from PyTest. Okay, assert will be taken care by PyTest. Assertions will happen because of PyTest. PyTest got installed. Select this project, select this file, go to these settings. The settings, select this project, select the interpreter, and here PyTest is already installed. You see 7.3.1. If it is not installed, you can also install from here like this. Any of the ways you can follow. I'll generally follow both the ways. Let me show you all the ways. Installing from terminal, installing from PyCharm IDE options. Okay. So now say okay. That's it. PyTest got installed. Once the PyTest is installed, this assertion will happen from PyTest. And there's one more thing for this particular test need to run. If this particular test has to run with the help of PyTest, then we have to add something like test underscore. Otherwise, PyTest will not detect this particular method. Okay. And here the Python file name also should start with the test kind of keyword. Okay. Simply say refactor rename and just add test underscore before this. Okay. Refactor test underscore before the Python file name under which the one of the automation test is available for one of the test case, automated test case is available. And here finally quit the browser. Quit the browser. Okay, this is one test we have created. This is only one test we have created. Let's create multiple tests. So let's see whether this particular test is running or not. After that, we'll create multiple tests. Okay, so I'll go to this terminal. I'll go to this terminal, and in the terminal, I'll say CLS, clear the things, and simply say PyTest -v -s, something like this. Okay, anything is fine. Or PyTest is also enough. Okay, no need to do anything. Just say PyTest. That's for this. So in this project, any test method which is starting with the test underscore under the Python file which is starting with test underscore, right, that will get executed. Let's run this and see whether the automation script is running or not. Automatically, it should open the Chrome browser, maximize the browser window, open the application URL in the browser. Then it has to type the valid product name, that is HP, into the search box field. It's still the page is loading, so Selenium will not do any actions after the page loads. You see, click on the search button, and let's see whether it's getting passed or failed. You see, it got passed. The test got passed 100%. Only one test is there, it got passed. Similarly, we can automate the few other test cases. So let's automate 3 test cases, let's say. So HP valid product. In the other test case, I'll give Honda, which is an invalid product. Click on search. And you should get this message. There is no product that matches the search criteria. And other test case, I'll not give any product and click on search. These are 3 test cases, and you should get this message. These are the 3 test cases I want to automate. One of the test cases is already done. Let's automate the other test cases. Let's give some 2 spaces, and here let's say def test underscore search for an invalid product like this. Now here write on WebDriver dot Chrome driver. The same steps, most probably the same steps till here. Okay. Search button also we have to click. Let's copy everything and modify accordingly, just to save the time. So here we are opening the application, but here we are not typing a valid product. Here we have to type an invalid product. We have to enter invalid product. So I am saying Honda here. I have to click on the same search button. After clicking on the search button, what will happen? If I search for Honda and click on the search button, what will happen? We'll get this. There is no product that matches such criteria. We'll get. I'll inspect this. We have to verify this, whether this particular message is coming on the search page or not. So this is here, but this doesn't have any proper locator to locate this. So I'll take the help of this input because it has an ID. Copy this ID attribute value of this input, ID locator of this input. I create an XPath expression, /input at the rate ID is equal to give the ID. And using the XPath access, I'll locate this speed. I'll say / following hyphen sibling : p. So this locates this paragraph tag. Copy this XPath expression come back here and write down here by dot xpath. So here give the xpath expression in double quotes, give the xpath expression. And I need to get this particular text. There is no product that matches such criteria. Text dot text, I'll say dot text. It will retrieve the text. And I need to compare this text with the expected text. What is the expected? This is expected. This is what the message should come. So I'll just save it here. Expected text. Okay, this actual text which is retrieved with the help of automation. The expected text is equal to, I'll give that and simply write down dot equals expected text. Okay, it should equal to the expected text. So done. Okay. So if the retrieved text is matching with expected text, the test will pass and finally will build the browser. Now similarly, I'll create one more automation script. Def test search without entering any product name. Search without entering any product. Driver is equal to WebDriver dot, same steps actually, same steps you can copy otherwise instead of writing. And here we should not enter Honda or something. Just keep it blank, or you can remove this step also. That's also fine. I'm not entering anything, blank. And the same message should come when you don't enter anything and try to search, right? The same search page will come there where there is a no product that matches such criteria should come. This is what is the thing. Now we have 3 tests created under this search Python file. 3 automation tests. Everything is starting with test underscore so that PyTest can run them. Even the Python file holding these 3 test methods is also starting with test underscore. So there should not be any problem. So let's run all these 3 tests. So for that, I can go to the terminal and write down CLS and say PyTest. That's it, and press enter. 3 out of 3 tests should run and everything should get passed. Let's 3 out of 3 tests get run. You see, first test got executed. Second test. Second test got executed. Now third test in this Python file will get executed. Not search for anything, not enter any such product, and it also got executed and everything got passed dot. And here let's see what will come. Here also dot in green color. All the 3 tests got passed. A total 100% got passed. 3 out of 3 tests got passed. This is how we have automated the test related, some sample test related to the sample functionality, that is search. Now let's create one more Python file and name this Python file as test underscore login. Okay, would like to automate the login test. Okay, so let's create that, and here let's create the automation scripts and simply say def login. First test case I am automating login with valid credentials. Okay, login with valid credentials, and here I'll write down WebDriver dot Chrome. It's not coming, so we have to import this WebDriver from Selenium library. After that, simply say WebDriver dot Chrome, and it will return you the driver. That using the driver object reference, you have to maximize the browser window. Then we have to open the application URL. What is application URL? The same application URL. This is tutorialsinja.com/demo application URL. Copy this and paste it here. And after that, once you open this application URL, then you have to go to the login page. For that, you have to click on my account. So I'll inspect this my account here, which I have to click on next. There's some text between the tags. Copy this text between the tags and I'll create an XPath expression, /span text is equal to, like this you create. It's locating only one element. That element is nothing but this my account option. Copy this XPath expression of that my account option and simply write down driver dot find element by dot XPath. By is not coming. We have to import this by class from Selenium library. After that, say by dot XPath. Use the XPath expression and say dot click. After clicking on this my account, we have to select this login option, inspect this login option. And here we got the login. Copy this login. This is a link text. So write down driver dot find element by dot link text. Give the link text and simply say dot click. After clicking on this login option, you will be taken to the login page. In the login page, you have to enter the valid email address, valid password. For example, this is one of the valid email address. Copy this and write down. First, let me inspect this email address field. To locate it with the help of Selenium, we need to create a locator. It has an ID locator. Copy this ID locator and write down driver dot find element by dot ID. Give the ID of that email address field and say dot send keys, and you pass the valid email address because we have to pass the login with valid credentials. So pass the valid email address. This is the valid email address which will get logged in for sure. And we have to enter the password. Inspect this password field and it has an ID. Copy this. Then write down driver dot find element by dot ID. Give the ID of that password field and say dot send keys. And here give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a valid password. So we have to enter this valid password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have to click on the login button. Inspect this login button. It has a value, attribute value. Copy this. Now control F /input @value is equal to, like this. It will locate the login button. Okay, it will locate this login button. Copy this XPath expression and come back here and write down driver dot find element by dot XPath expression for that login button and simply say dot click on the login button. Once you click on the login button, you will get logged in. And to confirm whether we got really logged in or not, to pass or fail this particular test, we have to pass the test if we are able to log in. How can we make sure? For that, we have to see one of the options which is only available for the logged in user. For example, all these options, okay, edit your account information, change your password, modify. All these options are generally available for the logged in user. I'll verify one of these options is available or displayed on this page. And if it is displayed, means that the user got successfully logged in. I'll inspect this. And this is nothing but a link text. I'll get the text between the tags and write down here assert driver dot find element by dot link text. This particular option got displayed or not. If it is displayed, means that test need to pass. And after that, you have to quit the browser. And here also, the test method should start with test underscore. Otherwise, it will not be detected by PyTest. That's it. This particular test got created. Now with test login with valid credentials is done. Let's create other automation scripts. Let's do some other test cases here for login, for sample test cases. First test case is login with valid credentials. Second test case is login with invalid email and valid password. Okay, invalid email and valid password. Def test underscore login with invalid email and valid password. Okay, this is another test case I'm automating. To copy all this stuff as this just to save the time. And here we have to pass the invalid email. Every time we have to give a new invalid email address, because what happens if you give the same invalid email address many times? I'm going to show you. For example, here, if I give this invalid email address one time, you got this warning, no match for email address and password. Click on the login. Again, the second time you got the warning message. Third time, same warning message. Fourth time, you got the same warning message. Fifth time, you got the same warning message. Sixth time, you got a different warning message. You see, while you keep running your automation scripts multiple times, right, with the same email, same invalid email address every time, what happens is at one point of time, whatever the message you are expecting may not be matching. Okay, you your test may fail because you got a different message here, but this is a valid functionality only, where due to security reasons, after 6 attempts of invalid email address login, this application is going to give you this message saying that your account has exceeded allowed number of login attempts. It's blocking you, this particular invalid email address, it's blocking for 1 hour. Okay, so that's the problem. So the message is getting changed. No match for email and password is getting changed here. So while you keep running your automation scripts multiple times, okay, so what happens is this email address, invalid email address may get, may get this message after multiple runs, and the test will fail. So it's better that we pass here an invalid email address which changes every time. Okay. So for that, what I will do here is, instead of hard coding the email address here, I'll generate an email address, a new invalid email address every time. How to generate a new invalid email address every time? So for that, I'll create a reusable method which will return you, when you call that method, right, it will return you some invalid email address every time. Okay. So that too along with the timestamp. Okay. The time keeps changing, right? So seconds, based on the seconds and all, the email address will be different, and it's kind of not registered email address. So it's an invalid in simple terms. Okay. So let's create a reusable method which can be called from here. When the reusable method is called, return it will return an invalid email address. Okay. Def test, not test. Actually, this is not need to be test. It can be without test because it not need to be run by PyTest directly. Rather, it need to be called from here. Generate email with timestamp. Okay, like this, I'll create one reusable user-defined method, and I'll write the code here, which will return, email with timestamp. So I'll take to write the code here. I'll take the help of this ChatGPT, etc., just to save time. ChatGPT, and go here and write down. Try ChatGPT. You can register here. If you have not registered, it will not take you here. Register here, and after that it will take you here, and you can write down the your question. Python code for returning timestamp. Like this, I'll write. What is the output? Okay, you see it's still writing something along with the format in which the timestamp should be appeared. Okay, what is the output for above code? Let's see what will be the output. Let's see. Just by asking it, it's generating the code for you. By looking at the code, we'll write. So this is the output you are going to get 2023. That is a year. 04 is a month. That is April. Why I'm recording this session. 21 is a day. And after that, 15, 30. That is 3:30. It's giving. Actually, it's giving 3:30. That's okay. Nearby timestamp it is giving. That's okay. So, but I want to get the timestamp in a different format. Instead of hyphens here, I should get underscore, and also here for spaces also I want to get underscore. For colons also I want to get underscore. Okay. Can you replace hyphen, spaces, and colons in the above output with underscore? How to modify the program? You can see that. You can write like this. Now is equal to date time dot now. Like this you can say. Okay. You can simply say date time dot now and dot string format, and that will give you the time format. Okay, like this. In this with underscores also it's giving, right? And what is the output for a, you see this is the output you'll get. This is the output you are going to get. This is how the output will come. So what I'll do here is I'll write the same code here and say date time. For the mouse on date time and import this from Python. Say date time dot now. It's not coming. datetime dot now or datetime dot time. Okay, so here in from datetime dot now is not coming. So let's remove this and here say datetime, import this datetime from datetime only. Okay, like this, the first one. Now say not now is coming or not, it's coming now. We have wrongly imported earlier. Now we have to import like this. Import datetime from datetime. And it will return you datetime dot now will return you some now. Instead of writing like this, simply say dot, directly say is this string format, okay? str format, dot str format. You can Google it out for the solution also, guys. You don't have to use ChatGPT. If you want to Google out, you can Google out. It will return you this in the string format. That is the timestamp is equal to. Let me, if you print this timestamp, right, you will get this kind of output. Now, what I would like to return here is return. I'll give something like this: a motori plus timestamp plus everything is a string, right? So at the rate gmail.com. So this kind of email address every time whenever I call this function will be returned. Okay, done. Now you just call this generate email with timestamp function from here like this. Okay? It will return you the email address in with the timestamp in string format, and that will be passed here every time. A new email address, new invalid email address will be entered, and the test will, you'll get a message saying that you'll get a message. Okay, when you click on this login button, what will happen when you give an invalid email address here? You click on the login, invalid email address and valid password. You'll get this message warning, no match for this is expected message. Simply write down here expected message or expected warning message is equal to the double quotes give that expected warning message. Here you will get a different message. Okay. Here you have to retrieve this message. Okay. Actual message you have to retrieve with the help of automation script that you have to compare with expected warning message. You will get the same message. If the test pass means you are getting the same message. Okay. So how to get that? For that, I'll just select this inspect option. And you see this is a div. Under the div, we have this particular text. You see warning no match for. We have to verify. We have to retrieve this particular text. To retrieve this particular text, along with this text, we'll get this I tag also because that is there in the div tag. So I'll say from here I'll start account login ID is there. Copy this double slash. I'll create an export expression at the rate ID is equal to give that ID of that. And under that ID we have this div slash div. I'll say it's locating 1 out of 2. I'll say div of 1. Now only one element, that is nothing but this warning message. So whatever the text that is div tag is starting here and ending here, between thing is I and warning. This both will be retrieved when I say dot text. But we'll do something here to avoid a problem. That is driver dot find element by dot xpath, give the xpath expression of that warning message. Say dot text. It will retrieve all the text, not only this particular text, along with the text, it will also retrieve the I tags. Here instead of saying equals, I'll say dot contains. I'll say hyphen contains kind of thing, and should contain this message. Okay. So this is how we can overcome that problem and say driver dot quit. It will close the browser. Okay. If the test pass, the assertion will pass the test and will quit the browser. Now, next thing is here one more test I'll create, that is uh, login with the valid email address and invalid password. Okay. I'll give a different valid email address, cap1, let's say, valid password. So instead of giving valid password, I'll give invalid password for that. So I'll give valid email address. This one is a valid email address, invalid password, login. You'll get the same warning message. You have to verify. Okay. Test login with valid email and invalid password. So every time you see Here, we are not automating the entire test case for login functionality. We have picked down some test cases. Only few test cases for the login functionality we are automating for sample, because keep automating the entire application, that will take a lot of time. So automating only the sample test case under the sample functionality, okay, as part of this session. Now copy paste all this stuff just to save the time. And here paste it, and here write down. Here we have to give a valid email address. That valid email address is nothing but this valid email address. If you give the valid password, it will get you logged in, but here we are not going to give a valid email address. I'll give an invalid email address. This is an invalid email address. I'm clicking on the login button. The same warning message will come. Same warning message. The code will be repeated. The same code. Okay, that's done. Now what next? Here we have this test case is also done. So the last test case, def, that is try to log in without giving any credentials. Okay, remove all these credentials and click on the login. You should get the same warning message. So def test login without entering credentials. Without entering credentials. Okay, without entering credentials. So copy this, paste it here, and write down, don't enter any email address, don't enter any password, keep it blank, and click on the login button. I should get the same warning message. We have to verify. Okay, done. So this is how we have automated the test cases, some sample test cases for the login functionality. There are 4 test cases we have created. So let's run this code and see along with this automation scripts whether these automation scripts are working or not. Here we have 4 automation scripts. In the search functionality, we have 3 automation scripts. All the 7 out of 7 automation scripts should run. But then I'll simply say PyTest and press enter. You see total 7 items, collected 7 items, 7 automation scripts are going to run one by one. First, let's see which one will run. First, login tests or such tests. Let's see. It's going to the login test first of all. The first test is completed already. It got passed. Now second test case is running. It also got passed, looks like. Let's see. Total 7 out of 7 test cases should run. So it's still loading the page. It will wait until the page gets loaded. Now third test case has got executed. Third test case got executed. Let's wait until all the test cases got executed. Fourth test case of login functionality is done. And anyhow, search will pass because I have already run the search related test earlier. Now all the tests from the login test cases, automated login test case got executed successfully and they got passed also. Now search functionality related test cases are running. First test case under search has run. It's better to make sure that after one step, you have to make sure whether everything is working fine, then only go to the next step, right? So try to solve the problems there itself if any are coming. Otherwise, if you have a lot of test case and you're running at a go, right, then you will not be able to figure out what got wrong, what will be difficult actually, okay? So I have completed writing the automation scripts for login functionality. So I'm running the scripts like that, okay? Here and there, run the scripts to see whether whatever you're doing so far is working fine or not. So see, 7 out of 7 tests get passed. Okay, 7 out of 7 tests got passed. Now the next thing is we have to write the automation scripts for another functionality. The last sample functionality, that is login functionality. I'll create a new Python profile and I'll simply say test underscore Login is done, search is done. So I'll go with the register now. Okay, register. I'm going to write the automation scripts for register. What are the automation scripts I'm going to choose for register is, let me show you. Register with mandatory fields, register with all fields. Okay, those are the two test cases. Register by providing a duplicate email address here, an email address for which account is already created. And the last test case is like, don't enter any of these mandatory fields and try to create an account and see whether proper warning messages are coming. Those 4 sample test cases for register account functionality or register functionality, I'm going to automate now here. Okay. So let's get started with automating all the test cases for the register functionality here. So let's create the first automation script. Say def space register with mandatory fields. So here, let's write the code. WebDriver dot pour the mouse on this WebDriver and import this from Selenium library. After that, say dot pro. It will return you the driver. Now write down driver dot maximize window, then driver dot get. Here provide the URL. That is the URL. Give that. After giving that URL, we have to click on my account and then select register option. So to click on the my account, already we have written the code here. It's 2 lines I'll write. This will click on the my account. After clicking on the my account, import this by from Selenium. Here we should not be selecting the login option. Rather, after clicking on my, we have to select the register option. Inspect that. This is a link text. Copy this link text and just place in place of the login link text. After clicking on that register option, you'll be taken to the register account page. In the register account page, I have to enter only the mandatory fields. That is first name, last name, email, telephone, password confirm. Select the privacy policy and click on the continue button. Let me inspect this first name. And here we have to give the ID. Copy this ID and write down driver dot find element by dot ID. Give the by dot ID. Give the ID of that first name field and say dot send keys. Here, whenever you are creating an account, you have to give the first name here into this field. So first name is always Arun. I'll give Arun as a first name. I'll give my first name as the first name here. And here next one is the last name field. Inspect that. It also has an ID. Copy this ID of the last name field. Simply write down driver.find element by dot ID. Give the ID of the last name field and say dot send keys. My last name I am giving. After giving the last name here, you have to give the email address. Inspect this email address. As an input ID is there for this email address field also. Copy this ID of this email address field and write down driver dot find element by dot ID. Give the ID of that email address field and say dot send keys. And here every time we have to give a new email address. For generating a new email address, we have to generate with the help of timestamp, which we already have done. Here, let me copy this function, which on calling which, it will generate a new email address every time. So I'll use the same function here. And whenever I need to enter a new email address here, I'll call this function, generate email with timestamp function. Call this for entering the email address. Okay, done. Import this datetime from datetime. That's it. Now, after entering an email address with the timestamp, let's say Muturi 21 or 2023 04 21 15, some email address I'm giving at the rate gmail.com 2135 at the rate gmail.com, and here telephone number we have to give. I'll inspect this telephone field and ID is there. Copy this. Write down private dot find element by dot ID. Give the ID of that telephone field dot send keys, and here you give the telephone number as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Then give the password. Input this password field. Copy this ID of the password field and write down driver dot find element by dot ID of the password field give the ID of the password field and say dot send keys 12345 is a password I'm giving. And similarly, here enter the confirm password as also the same password. Inspect that the confirm password field. Take this ID of the confirm password field, write down driver dot find element by dot ID. Give the ID of the confirm password field and similarly enter the same password, that is 12345 is the password. After entering that password into the password confirm field, now select this privacy policy checkbox field, inspect that has a name locator, copy this, write down driver dot find element by dot name, give the name locator of that privacy policy checkbox field and say dot click. We will select the checkbox. After that, we have to click on the continue button, inspect that your value continue is there, copy this, and create an XPath expression, /input at the rate value is equal to continue and press enter. It's located in this only one element, that is continue button. Copy this XPath expression and write down driver dot find element by dot XPath, give the XPath expression of that continue button and say dot click. That's it. So one automation test is done, and finally we have to verify whether we have got really logged in or not. Once you get logged in, you have to verify this heading. Let's say your account has been created, should be coming here. Inspect that. And see here, this is in the H1 tag. See here we have the ID. Copy this ID and create an XPath expression, /div at the rate ID is equal to, give the ID of that. And under the div ID, we have this H1/H1 you see, locating only one thing, that is this heading. Copy this XPath expression and write down assert driver dot find element by dot XPath, give the XPath expression of that and say dot, retrieve the text between the tags and say dot equals, it should be equaling to what? This particular text should equal to this particular text. Copy this text and write down here expected heading text is equal to this one, double quotes you give, and you just copy this and paste it here. And finally, based on this, the expected heading is coming, the test will pass, and after that, we will close the browser. Otherwise, the test will fail. Now, the next thing, this one test is completed, register with mandatory fields. Now, let's automate another test. That is, let's log out and let's go to the same register page here. Here, this time we'll register with all the fields, including the newsletter field. This is only field that is left out apart from mandatory fields. We'll also select the newsletter field this time. So for that, I'll write down the code like this: def register with all fields, register with all fields, colon, and here write down, copy all this stuff, paste it, here all the fields we have to enter. So almost all fields are there. After you enter the confirm password and all, here, right? Here we have to select the newsletter option, inspect that. Remaining steps are same. Just selecting this newsletter option is required, value is equal to 1 is there. And let's create something out of this. So here name newsletter, value 1 is there. Copy this name newsletter and write down /input at the rate name is equal to newsletter at the rate value is equal to 1. Enter. You see it's locating this S radio button which need to be selected. Copy that and here write down driver dot find element and element by dot XPath. Give the XPath expression of that radio button, S radio button, and say dot click. This will register with all the fields. Remaining steps are same. Now 2 test cases are done. Now 2 more test cases are left out. It seems the third test case is, this time we'll try to create an account with an existing email. For example, this is an existing email address. I'll try to create an account with the existing email address. Okay, we'll try to create an account with an existing email address and click on the continue. What will happen? Account will not be created. Rather, we'll get this warning message saying email address is already registered. So for that, I'll do one thing. I'll try to use an email address which I have not used earlier in any of previous things. Here we have used one cap9 we have used. Then here cap1 we have used already. Apart from cap1, cap9, I can use anything it seems. I'll use cap3 or something. Let's see if we have in that cap3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Existing email address I need. You see it's working. So that means it's an existing email address. So go to the register and let's create the account with duplicate email address. So here I'll write down the test. That is def register with duplicate email. Register with duplicate email. Copy this previous code because most of the things will be repeated. Just paste it here and write down or go to register. Here email address should be duplicate email address for each account already exists. That is, this is the email address. This is the email address which is already having an account that I'm trying to create again. So it should give me a warning message instead of getting created. Remaining all steps are same. Remaining everything is same. And here we should get warning message. Expected warning message is equal to here. You have to provide the warning message that you will get. You try to create an account with a duplicate email address. You get a warning message here. That warning message, let's find it out. Click on that and you'll get the warning message. This is the expected warning message. So this is expected warning message and how to retrieve the actual warning message while the script is running. For that, I'll inspect this warning message. You see it's under the div tags again. So here account reachable is copy this control F /div at the rate ID is equal to give that ID and under the ID slash this is a div. To our coming div of 1, I will say so this is the one. The div is starting here, ending here. The required text to be retrieved text is here between the div tags, but it will also retrieve I tag here. So what I'll do is I'll copy the XPath expression and here I'll write down give the XPath expression here, and here instead of saying dot equal and say dot text dot contains, and here should contain the expected warning message. That's done. So the test case is completed. So 3 automation tests we have created for the test register. 3 things are done. Now let's go with the last one. Def test without entering any fields, without providing any fields. Okay, without providing or entering any fields, let's without filling any fields, let's kind of test without entering any fields. So what will happen if you directly click on this continue button without entering any fields? You will get all these warning messages. I have to verify all these warning messages. For all the mandatory fields, are you getting the warning message or not? You have to verify. So what I will do here is I'll copy the same thing. I'll remove the steps if not required. You see here, I'll do one thing. Here I don't have to enter the first name. I don't have to enter the last name. Don't have to enter the email address. I don't have to enter the telephone number. I don't have to enter the password. Actually, here we have to give the password in double quotes. Here also password we have to enter in double quotes. What about the previous 2 things? Copy these 2 lines. Here also password need to be entered in double quotes. Here also password need to be entered in double quotes. Done. So no errors anymore. Here also password should be entered in double quotes. Fine. So here we should not be even giving the password. Confirm password also we should not be giving directly. We don't have to select this radio button. Not required. We don't have to select this checkbox field. Okay, we can remove this part. And we have to directly click on the continue button. What will happen? A lot of warning messages will come. All these warning messages are going to come. So how to verify whether all the warning messages are coming or not? Let's see. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'll verify all these warning messages. I'll inspect one by one. Inspect. Here, this ID, copy this ID, create an XPath expression, /div at the rate ID is equal to give that ID and /div of 1, okay, which has that warning message. This is the one which has a warning message. Copy this XPath expression. And here, I'll write down, okay, the same XPath expression actually. This is the same XPath expression. When I paste also same dot text dot contents expected. Here I'll say privacy policy warning message, expected privacy policy warning message. Copy this. Driver.find element by dot export text dot contents expected privacy policy warning message. Okay, this is done. Next what? Next assertion is this one. Inspect this. So let's say it has an ID here. We cannot locate directly this one. You can locate this ID, and I'll write down /input @ID is equal to give the ID of that and single quote. And this will locate, but we have to locate this part and retrieve the text between the tags. This is a following sibling, right? / following hyphen sibling : div. Okay, this will retrieve the text between. We can retrieve the text between tags. Copy this, and here write down assert driver.find element by dot xpath. Use the xpath expression of that first name warning message. Retrieve the text using the text tag text, and here write down expected first name warning message. Expected warning message, that is nothing but first name must be between 1 and 32 characters. Copy this. Dot contains or equals, you can say dot equals here. Dot equals and give that expected first name warning message. Now press enter, and here right. Okay, what is the problem here? Here, this is the one, right? Expected first name warning message, which is done. Copy these two lines, so it can be repeated. You can copy paste and save some time here. Copy this, paste it here. Expected last name, I'll say last name. Okay, copy this and give that here. Expected last name. Here we have to give the XPath expression, and warning message also I have to change. That is the last name message here. And mostly the XPath expression is very simple. Here instead of input first name, you have to give input last name. But let me confirm that. Inspect this. See, input last name is the remaining all the same. Just modify that here. That will be enough. Input last name. See, last name, last name, last name, last name. Done. Again, copy these two lines and paste it here. This time, inspect. Again, here this is email. I'll simply say in expected email warning message. Okay, email warning message, and here I have to give this expected email warning message. Just to save time, I'm doing like this. I'm just copy pasting. Most of the things are same. So here instead of giving this as ID, I have to give a different ID. Inspect this. Input email is there, and remaining all are same. Remaining portion of the XPath expression is same, and here this expected email warning message. Okay, done. Then copy this part, again paste it here for the next mandatory field warning message that is telephone related. Copy this. Here write down, instead of email, write down telephone. Give the telephone. Okay. And here inspect this And here we have input telephone, copy this. And here expected telephone warning message. After that, copy this part, inspect this. This is a password. Let's copy this text, password last warning message, and give that here. Here instead of telephone, write on password warning message. And copy this password warning message, paste it here. And here also we have to change the ID. That is inspect this. And here we have the ID, input password, copy that and paste it here. Done. Okay. So done. We have all the warning messages verified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 warning messages. Let's come. Confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Done. If every warning message is coming means that S is going to pass. So we are done with writing the automation scripts for sample automation scripts for register functionality. Now let's run this. And here we have 4 automation scripts in addition. Earlier we have 7 automation scripts, 3 in search, 4 in login, 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 4, 11. Right? So total 11 should run. This time let's run the 11 automation scripts. Simply say PyTest. Total 11. Okay, only connected 8 items is coming. Okay, there is a problem. I cannot stop this, I guess. Okay. Okay, I just mentioned some keyboard interrupt I gave and it stopped, it seems. So what I have to do here is some names I have to modify. And here I have to set test underscore. If I don't give test underscore, it's not going to run. Test underscore. Here also test underscore. Here also test underscore. If you don't give test underscore, it's not going to run. Test register without entering any fields. Test register without entering any fields. That's it. Now it will run. Now simply say PyTest here. Press enter. Total 11 should be collected. 11 item, then it is working fine. Okay. 11 out of 11 automation steps need to run. So in this session, we have to make sure that we are able to write all the automation scripts for all the sample functionalities of the sample application. Okay. All the sample test case of the sample application. If this 11 are working fine, then we have to go to the next level of the framework. Okay. So in this session is all about writing the automation scripts, required automation scripts required by this framework or project. The next level, in the next we'll in the next session we'll go for next level of the framework, what we can do as part of this framework and all I'll cover in the next session. So all the scripts are running one by one. Register related tests are running. 30% got passed, remaining 64% we have. Second test in the register got run. Let's wait until all the tests run, complete running. Something is failing, it seems. We have to rectify. The browser is not closing, means something got failed. See what went well, what didn't went well. Only one got failed, it seems. Remaining test cases running. Okay, one got failed, 10 got passed, and that one which got failed is test register without entering any fields. Got failed. Why it got failed? Let's see the reason behind that. Test register without entering any fields. Assert false came, it seems. Expected privacy policy warning email address is already okay. Wrong one is there. Register without entering fields. Yeah, here I have to replace this message with the privacy policy warning message. I didn't do that. So clear this out and give a proper privacy policy warning. You must agree to the privacy policy should be there. That was a mistake. Since only one test from this register is failing, I'll do one thing. I'll only run the test from this register and I'll simply say PyTest. Okay. After that, I'll simply under the test package we have this file. I'll simply say test package test, then test underscore register py press enter. Only these 4 tests from the register will run and we can get to know whether they are passing now or not. Okay. I don't have to run all the tests because all the tests from other login and search are working fine. Only one test from this register is not working. So I'm running that again. Okay, everything got passed. So it is working fine. So we are done creating the test automation scripts for the sample functionalities in the sample application. Sample test cases we have automated. Okay. So this is what all about this session where I have created the automation script for search, login, and register as part of this creation of the hybrid framework. So a lot of other sessions for improvising this framework are coming up in the upcoming sessions. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.